Well, I don't know if I want to see what's down there, but I don't think we have any other choice at this point.
No, unless we want to go up and see if there's anyone upstairs. Either way, I can go back and grab a candle from one of those sconces and bring it with us. Or if we want to be stealthy, we can keep it dark.
I think it might be best to bring a candle.
Yeah, sure, bring a candle, I say, kind of absent-mindedly as I start walking through this passage.
Just don't go too fast. Fred's just gonna run out of the room as quietly as possible, grab a candle, and come back.
Fred, you manage to quickly grab a sconce and quickly follow, but it is Liz who starts to go down first. You begin to descend down the stairs. The air changes. There's a breeze coming from somewhere, but you're not sure where. You're not sure how much time passes, but you can't really see the top of the stairs anymore. It's like you've descended quite far. Liz, you're leading the way. Corridors. And they turn onto corridors. Left and right, up and down. So many turnings, so many corridors. There's a strange murmuring in the air. There's no light other than the light you're holding, Fred.
As we're starting to feel kind of like we're losing a sense of time almost, I'm going to pull out my pocket watch and check the time, see how long it is before midnight.
Apparently, according to your pocket watch, it's about 11:45, 11:50.
Oof. Guys, whatever we're doing, we better hurry up because we only have about 10-15 minutes before midnight.
I'm kind of obsessively moving forward, and I just pick up my pace, not saying anything, just trying to fixate on anything into this darkness, feeling my way along the wall.
It's difficult as you feel along the walls, moist, slick. You've noticed that you're standing in water. Not a lot of water, just a little bit. The floor is wet here. Georgette, as you're looking at your pocket watch, trying to keep time, can you please roll to keep it together?
That's a 14.
You lose 1 stability again, now at -2, getting a bit anxious. Please choose an emotion to feel. You can be scared, sad, angry. Something is wrong here. It hurts to look at your watch.
Yeah, I think as I'm watching, I'll start to feel a little bit angry, just thinking about my family back at the casino and what might happen to them if we're not successful tonight.
Liz, you keep leading the way, although you make sure that Fred's near. After all, he has the light. There's no other light here, is there? Wait. You think far ahead, you do see another light. It's very far ahead, though. How big is this place? How long have you been walking? All 3 of you feel like you've been walking down hallways for like 10, 20, 30 minutes, not 5. You have no idea, time is slipping from you all.
And that makes me want to move even faster. As I see the light, I just kind of gasp. There! And I start moving, almost jogging.
Fred, what do? Liz suddenly starts jogging after this light. You can see it too. There is something up ahead.
I'm gonna try to keep pace. I'm gonna use my long legs to just kind of keep at Liz's heels as best as I can while making sure the candle still stays lit so that we have some sort of light. But I'm gonna look back and check to see if Georgette's following us.
Yeah, I'll be following closely behind.
Yes, Georgia, as they start moving ahead and the light starts leaving you, you just suddenly feel like there's something behind you, like maybe down that corridor or that corridor. Why are there so many hallways and corridors down here?
As soon as I start feeling that way, I'm gonna start double time, going after them, trying to get as close to them as possible.
You all begin moving forward. Liz, you're first. Light. It's coming towards you. Something glowing. It hurts to look at suddenly. You have to shield your eyes as this light just starts floating down the hallway towards you. What do, Liz?
As I realize the light is moving towards me as well, I stop. And just kind of shield my eyes because I've been so used to the darkness. Is that it? Is that why it hurts?
And all three of you have a strange sense of, like a dream almost. How in a dream you accept things quickly. They just happen. You all accept that the light is a woman? You've seen her before, Liz. You've seen this woman in the picture. The picture didn't do her justice. She's so alluring. She's everything that, well, you'd want to be. I'll let you tell me, why is she so amazing?
She reminds me of giving birth, of holding my daughter for the first time. This purity of life that I first saw that time, where it felt like nothing could dull the glory of this.
Fred, you see it too? You tell me. What does Fred see in this wonderful, wonderful person?
Probably the few times I actually tried to teach Joan how to shuffle cards. She's only, she's 5 now. She was probably 2 or 3 at the time, and she, I think, tried to eat them more than she tried to shuffle them, but it was still fun, and it had nothing to do with the business, and it was hope.
Yes, hope and comfort and warmth. They're all there. And you as well, Georgette. What does Georgette see in this beautiful, wonderful person?
Georgette would see the idea of the woman that she always wanted to be but never could be. Something she always compared herself to, her being mousy and bookish. And then seeing like the women on the billboards and always looking up to them and wishing that was the kind of beauty that she could have.
The woman comes to you, Liz. She smiles. She puts a little finger on your mouth, shushing you, and says, "Ah, are we lost down here?"
Yes. We have to find Christian.
She looks to you, Fred, gently caressing your face with her hand. It is pure ecstasy, as she says, "Ah, that's good. I don't want to go on here. You can fool me. You can do that if I show you free the way. Yes, I would be so grateful."
Who are you?
Shush, 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 my dear.
What is he gonna do? Ryan.
I don't know. You'll help me, though. Say yes, and I'll show you the way.
I look at Georgette.
Now look to Liz and then back to the woman and just nod.
Yes.
The being nods and smiles at all 3 of you. All of you feel you could happily stay here, really. Even that warmth you were feeling, thinking of Joan and your family, like, I mean, they're here. You don't really need to go back to them. But it starts to fade a little as the being begins to vanish. But then you see some little lights on the floor, like footsteps, just leading you down a corridor to the left. What do the 3 of you do?
Is she just disappearing?
Yes.
I kind of feel the air where she was. And then I see the lights on the floor. I look to Fred. She's gone.
You know, I'm starting to think that this is some sort of fever dream. Maybe we actually died back in the desert tonight.
Honestly, it'd probably be the least surprising at this point. I reach up and touch the cheek that she had caressed, and my eyes are just blinking rapidly, trying to readjust to the now darkened hallway. As I look down, I see the footsteps. I guess the only thing we can do is follow at this point. She seemed like she knew where she was going.
I feel this kind of emptiness inside of me as she disappeared. And I feel it's almost like that tugs me forward to follow, just the hope of feeling that again. Feeling that everything I have, everything I need is right here.
Yes. And you begin moving on, all three of you, although all three of you have a little pain in your heart. Like something has just been taken from you, like, why did it have to go? But you begin focusing on the situation at hand, and going down this dark, strange corridor. And eventually the footsteps lead you to a chamber. This place has stone walls. Many candles are all over the place here. The floor has strange red patterns on it, circles upon circles upon circles, and strange runes that to you, Georgette, look a little familiar. And there in the middle is an altar. And there is a man on the altar, bound. And there is someone above him, hooded. And you all have a sense of déjà vu, as you realize you're all standing as you were in the painting. What do you do?
Georgette will kind of hesitantly take a step back, trying to process what's going on.
Fred, what do you do?
This is the strangest thing. It's exactly like what we saw. It's not something that's supposed to happen. No one's supposed to know something that happens before it actually comes to fruition. But I'm gonna take a deep breath and hold the sconce out a little further and look at the hooded figure.
And Liz, what do you do?
I feel my hand flip the safety on the gun, and I hold it up, pointing it at this figure, and I say, "Stop."
Liz, you say stop. What do you say, Fred?
What the hell is going on here?
You notice this person bound on some sort of altar starts writhing a little, like you can see they've got like a sack over their head. They're trying to say something. The figure turns. It is a man with a emaciated face, clad in robes. He has a strange medallion hanging around his neck, and he has upon his head a strange mark. The man looks at you, scratching at his beard, holding in his other hand a large dagger. Ah, well, look at that, Christian. Right on schedule. I am impressed. Welcome.
Who are you?
What are you doing? What is supposed to happen here tonight?
Many things, young lady. That's my first answer. Answer me something. How did you escape my little minion? I hoped it would kill you all, and here you are. In my lair, you even made it through the maze. How impressive indeed.
Judging by the painting that was by the door to this place, you had to have had some sort of inclination that we'd show up here tonight.
Well, you can't blame someone for trying to change fate, but I suppose his paintings are better than that. I should have expected that. I should have expected that, Christian. And he sort of slaps the individual on the slab. The individual on the slab kind of winces in pain.
Please don't hurt him. We need him.
Oh. Why?
We have a boss to deliver him to.
Oh no. Who's that?
Mr. Pickett? Do you know him?
You are his lapdogs. How amusing.
What does he want with him?
If I were to make a guess, probably two. Bind his skill, his art, and conceal it from the world for all time.
Looks like you're trying to stop it.
Oh, no. I'm doing something far more interesting. Georgette, as you were the one who stepped back, you just noticed the floor. Again, these symbols. You know them. At least you think you know them. You don't really know what they mean, but they mean something. They're powerful. There's salt all on the ground. You see salt, you know. You can smell it. It's making these shapes.
And I don't recognize exactly what they're for at all?
Well, you tell me. Have you wanted these things to be real? Have you actually tried to draw them yourself, or have you just laughed them off as idle curiosities?
I definitely would have taken some time to myself to fiddle around and practice learning them so that maybe I could find out if they really did work.
Yes, but you need things for these to work. Blood is one of them. Pain. Things that perhaps you haven't fully experienced yet, but here they are on the floor, and you realize you've stepped into it. You're surrounded by these salt circles. This slab, this man speaking calmly, and then you feel around you the shadows are moving, just sort of swirling faster and faster. You wonder what time it is.
I'll pull out my pocket watch.
11:56.
Alright. I want to look back towards the entrance where we came in. How far is it?
About a minute, a couple of steps, you'd be back in the exit.
Fred, Liz, I don't think we should be in here.
We don't really got a choice, do we?
I'm gonna look down at my watch again. Whatever we're gonna do, I think we should do it fast and get out of here.
Oh, why the rush, my dear? Stay and talk. I will answer all your questions, and then they will answer as well.
They?
Well, Pickett seems... I kind of blurt out, then stop.
Seems we're on a bit of a time crunch here. Don't think we're gonna have time to listen to all the, I'm sure, very interesting things you're gonna tell us. If you could just give him back, and we'll be on our way.
And I raise the gun at him again that I noticed that I had kind of faltered at holding up. I feel my mouth is dry, my head aches slightly.
The man looks at you. He sort of lowers one of his hands and begins just moving his fingers back and forth, back and forth. You want Mr. Starker? Oh, no, I'm afraid he has an appointment.
And so do we.
Georgette, you see the hand movements. That means something, doesn't it? And then you, Fred, hear somewhere in the shadows, the walls seem to be disappearing. There's just shadow all around you. A slurping iron sound, and something red, metal coming. Your clock is ticking, Georgette. You hear the ticking, just tick, 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 tick. Liz, what do?
What do I perceive out of the things that they hear and see?
You can hear the ticking of the stopwatch. You can hear the ticking of Georgette's pocket watch. You can see Fred just looking at the shadows. And you can see this man doing something with his hands. What's he doing? You have no idea.
Stop it. Whatever you're doing, just stop it, I say, and I take a step forward, like holding the gun steadily towards him.
I warn you, my dear, one more step, and it will hurt. You just need a bit more time.
And I panic. I feel like this surreal thing that we're inside. It's all dreamlike. It can't matter. The only thing that can matter is Joan, and that I get her out. I don't know how Pickett knows about this. What's supposed to happen here at midnight? They're all involved in something that I couldn't care less about, but I feel that I'm not gonna survive this unless I try and stop it. And I just squeeze the trigger and try and fire off a round at him.
Roll violence as you shoot at this person.
16.
You fire. You fire straight at this son of a bitch. He staggers back as the gun goes off. He roars a strange, unnatural roar that shakes the very ground. He doesn't go down, but he goes back. Fred, as soon as you see Liz move forward and fire, you suddenly see from your corner of your eye something begin to surge into the area. A being, a soup, a sludge, something consisting of several bodies and limbs and eyes and legs, and it's extending a sort of multiple... It's extending almost a tentacle, but not a tentacle of an octopus, a tentacle made of several arms, just suddenly is leaping towards you. What do you do?
Oh, hell, soup man. And I just hold the sconce out that I'm holding, the candle out towards him as if to shove the fire at the tentacle that's coming towards us.
Ooh, roll me violence for +2.
18.
You instinctively just thrust out the light straight into this thing. It screams with the voices of several people as the flame sort of lick at it, and it actually burns it, and it sort of grabs the scone from your hand and sort of wrenches it from your grip, flinging it away, but the creature itself does stagger back. You're completely stunned at what's happening. Georgette, Liz is firing at this person who's screaming in pain. Fred is sort of just wielding a scone, and you're the one who then notices that while all this is happening, in the center of this scene of horror that sort of can't be real, something's happening. Something dark and shadowy is starting to emerge from the ground, right in the middle of the smallest circle. The smallest circle. It's coming from the smallest circle. What do you do?
Oh, I'm gonna take my gun out as well, and I'm gonna just aim at what's coming out of the smaller circle, and I'm gonna take a shot.
You do. You don't need to roll. You start shooting, and your bullets are just going through. Pew, pew, pew. But they don't stop. They go through this thing, whatever it is coming out of the ground. This thing doesn't care about bullets.
What was the circle made out of? What is it?
Salt.
Salt, alright.
Salt and copper.
I would like to get close to it, and I'm going to try kicking through the circle of salt and just messing it up.
Yes. Liz, you see Georgette sort of scrambling past you. They've shot at something, but what do? This man has not gone down. He sort of falls to his knees behind the altar, but then he raises a hand, and the air around his hand begins to shudder. What do?
As chaos completely erupts, I hear that sloshing sound and the screaming voices, and I would just want it all to go away and to be quiet. I move up towards the man, and I fire again and again.
Roll violence, this time with a -1.
Violence is something that I'm very good at. And my hand is steady. I fire and I fire. I roll 16.
You just begin unloading a full clip into this being, this man. He staggers back. You're dimly aware that something was happening with his hand, but you shoot the hand, and suddenly you're at the slab with this person underneath you who's squirming and screaming, and the being just begins falling back. You bitch! You fools! No! No! But he's fading into the darkness, fading away, blood flowing everywhere. Fred, Liz is unloading clip after clip into this person. You think you'll run out of ammo in a minute, but it seems to be working. But again, you see this thing roiling before you. What do? You think it's going to try and come at you again, and this time you don't have your weapon anymore.
I still have the stiletto, and I'm gonna flick it and hold it out. If it tries to go near me, I'm gonna try to slice at the tentacles, just panicking, hoping that I could get it to stop from touching me.
Roll violence.
Yay.
And this time it's at a -2.
7.
You move forward, trusting in your stiletto. While the burning scone seemed to have great effect on this being, your stiletto does nothing. It sort of just, you reach forward, stab, and it just goes straight into one of these arms, and then the arms just sort of smash into you. You are thrown back, falling at Liz's feet. Please roll endure injury. You must roll your fortitude at -2 harm. So that's a -2 to the roll.
That's going to be 8.
This injury is overwhelming as you are just thrust down to the ground, almost slammed in. You have 3 choices. You can die. I don't think you want to do that just yet. You can receive a critical wound, which is something everyone can receive 1 of, but you will continue to act during the scene, or you can simply be knocked out, losing consciousness.
I'm a little too cool to be knocked out immediately. I'm gonna take a critical wound.
Please make a note. As long as you have this critical wound, it is a -1 to all rolls. As you feel something break, you're not sure what, a rib, your leg, it really hurts. This is a serious wound, which if you do not get sorted soon, you will die. But for the moment, you're still alive, but you're like on the floor, bleeding, just before Liz. Georgette, chaos, but you go. Why do you think rubbing away some salt and copper is going to do anything? What is it that gives you this idea?
I get the thought in my head that maybe if I break these sigils being used to summon, at least from what I think is happening, this creature, that I can slow it down or stop it.
Act under pressure for me.
That is a 7.
You begin wiping away at these markings on the floor, and you brush away a lot of them, and you can feel the air shimmering around you. Everything seems to be blurring, and that's when whatever this thing coming out of the ground, it just lays a hand, a long dark hand with jagged nails suddenly digs into yours as you're just about to rub away the last part of just as you're about to rub away the last part of the circle. Please roll me an endure injury at -1.
So that will be an 8.
Same 3 choices: a critical wound, knockout, or death.
I'll take a critical wound.
The thing grabs your hand, those dark nails, and it keeps squeezing and squeezing. The nails go through your hand. You can see that they've gone through your hand. The pain is unbearable as you wipe away almost the last bit of this circle. Whatever this thing is, for a moment you see a face. It's twisted. It's like one of those paintings you saw once. A Picasso or something? You know, where the eyes and the mouth aren't really drawn right. And it whispers to you, Georgette, what are ever wanted. What do you do?
Start shaking my head. No, just shut up. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna try to like pull away from where it's at. Kind of crawl back.
Do you try and brush away the last part of salt?
Mm-hmm.
With your other hand, you do so. And as you do so, I'd like you to roll. Keep it together one last time.
Oh boy, here we go.
Have this experience.
Alright, that is a 14.
-1 stability. And I will choose on this one occasion for you. And that is that you will be haunted by this experience at a later time. What's happening to you will never leave you. This you will remember forever. But for now, with your other hand, you brush away at this circle. The being that was coming out of the ground snarls at you. I will remember you. I will remember you. And it begins to disintegrate. There's a loud din, a nasty sound of confusion. Everything begins to swirl around all three of you. What do you do, Liz? Suddenly, the air, the wind begin knocking at you, but you're here by this altar, and there's someone there. What do you do about them?
As Fred is knocked out and falls by my feet, I see him hitting the altar nastily. I think I almost heard a crack of something, and I see the stiletto in his hand. I just reach down and try and grab it.
You grab it?
Fred, stay with me, Fred. And I just get up to the altar and I start trying to cut this person free.
You do. You cut at the bonds of this person and they kind of meekly fall into you. And you fall near Fred, and all four of you are suddenly on the ground as the air screams and screams and screams, and wind and water just flood over all three of you. Fred, what do you do? You're not really able to move, but what do you do at all this happening around you?
I try to scooch myself up from where I was sitting on where I was laying on the floor after being knocked down. I take a deep, shuddering breath in, only to cough out and have blood come down my chin. I think there's a rib too close to my lungs, and we're gonna have to deal with that later, but right now I'm just trying to stay as close to everyone as I can, and just really hope this is over with soon, as he will actually just shut his eyes. He hates everything that's happening.
Georgette, what do? You can't move your right hand, but you can move your left hand, and the others are there, and the world is all upside down. What do?
I want to look over to Fred, and I'm going to try to move my way over towards him and see if I can't help him get more stable. See if we can start to work our way out of there, maybe.
You can try, but eventually everything just goes dark. And then you think there is some light. You all blink. You're in a basement room. There's some sort of slab, there's walls, there's simply a single stairway that goes up to something, and there is light coming from there. You can hear music playing somewhere. There are no hideous monsters. There's no other people here. It's just you four. What do?
Once I open my eyes, I look around in just pure confusion, and I try to stand up, and using whoever's nearby as support, at least until I can get myself standing. I look around. Is there any man or altar in this room?
There is an altar, still. Again, there's actually some electric light bulbs that's coming on. It's a strange thing to suddenly see. It just looks like you're in a basement. An average-looking basement, a couple of old boxes. And yes, there is a man who's sort of just whimpering on the floor, currently with a bag over his head. He's near Liz. There's also a lot of blood near that altar.
Try and very hard to not look at the blood, I'm gonna shamble my way over to the man and remove the hood from his head.
And you see the face of your man, Christian Starker, looking at you, panicked, confused. Oh, I knew you'd come. You came. I knew you'd come. I saw it. I saw you coming and you came.
You painted us. You painted us.
Yes. I saw it in the dreams, the visions. I can see, and you came. And I didn't know if you would, but you did. You've saved me. It's done. We're done.
And as he rambles on, I see Fred closing his eyes, or just lying there still with his eyes closed. And I go over to him, or I just lean over to him because we're all kind of in a pile. Fred.
Yeah, the lights are very bright. Everything hurts. I cough again. I'm still in intense pain and just...
Stay with me, all right? I'll get an ambulance here. Just stay put, okay?
Yeah, just be careful. Call Mr. Pickett. I look over at Georgette and the man, and I just look over at Christian Starker. What the hell does everyone want from you? Why are you so important?
Me? I don't know. I just draw beautiful paintings. And everyone likes them. He wanted them, and he wanted me, and he starts sort of whimpering.
I realize at that point that the man... Ryan, is he in here?
You can't see him. You can see an awful lot of blood around that altar, but you cannot see him anywhere.
Georgette, I look over to you, and I see your hand. What does it look like?
It got impaled, if I'm not mistaken, so it'll be...
Yes, several needles went straight through your hand.
So it'll definitely be covered in blood and forming a fist, trying to keep it from bleeding so heavily.
Can you keep an eye on Fred? I'll go find a phone.
Yeah, I can keep an eye on him. Just hurry.
I'll be fine, I say as I just cough again and more blood goes down my
It
chin.
doesn't look like it.
Yes, Fred, you're not sure what's broken, but something definitely is broken somewhere in you.
You just need to take it easy, Fred. Maybe just hold still. We don't know what's wrong with you right now. You could have bone impaling your lung or something.
No, I just need more whiskey, I'll be fine.
I'm gonna look back to, Christian. So I'm going to assume that you're wanted because you paint the future, from what I'm gathering.
What? I just paint what I see. Beautiful. It's all thanks to her, you know, all thanks to my muse. It wasn't even that good. But you're here, and now you can get me. Get to a car. Let's leave. We need to leave. There are people. We should go.
I stand up and I look for an exit, and if this is the basement of the house, I'm gonna try and find a phone.
You begin going up the stairs. You come out of a door, but you're not in the library. That's a little confusing. You're in somewhere else at the front of the house. You come up just in time to hear a few things happen. First, a couple of shouts from somewhere. Then gunshots. 2 or 3. Bang. Bang, bang. Then, people. People are coming to the front door of this building. What do?
I suppose I am completely drained from all this, but... So I'm just gonna stand there and just watch.
And you do, as the doors are kicked in. And the people with guns are ones you recognize. They tilt their head, look at you. One of them comes forward. Ah, there you are. You got him. Where is he?
He's in the basement.
Good work, Liz. Good work. Oh, Mr. Pickett's gonna be happy. Come on, let's get you out of here. Let's go.
The others are hurt. I think they need to go to the hospital.
And people start coming in. People you're familiar with. Other people of Mr. Pickett. They come to you, Fred, and start hauling you up as carefully as possible. They come to you, Georgette, and help you up as well. And Liz too. You all start being led to cars outside. You briefly notice Liz. There's a few people lying down outside front of the house. But, well, you don't find out what happens to them. You're all being driven. Driven somewhere. Liz, your mind is perhaps understandably a little drained. Fred, you're in so much pain that you kind of just eventually lose consciousness. And Georgette, you too are just focusing on the pain in your hands. So the next few hours go by in a weird haze. You are aware, of course, as you're leaving the house, you hear somewhere a clock striking 12. Liz, being the most coherent, you're the one who notices that eventually you're driven back to the casino. You're left in a room. Fred's taken away. Georgette's taken away. You see this man for a moment. You're alone with him in this little room, just waiting. What do you do?
With Christian?
Yes.
I feel a sort of aggravation towards him. Feels like it's his fault, though it really kind of isn't. It's Pickett. He's the bastard. I just try and not to really acknowledge this person. It's like I don't care about this. I only want Joan. I just want Joan back. I look over to him and I say, well, what do you know about Pickett? Why does he want you?
He looks at you, suddenly terrified. What? Did you say Pickett? Where are we? Where did you take me? Where did those people take me? I thought they were with you. Who do they work for? They work for Mr. Pickett.
Yes, we all work for Mr. Pickett.
He gets out of his chair. He runs to one of the doors. He starts trying to open it. The door is then opened for him. People come in. Mr. Pickett comes in. He smiles. You see this man, Christian, try and get past these people, but he can't. They just quickly grab him by the arms and begin hauling him out of the room. Mr. Pickett looks at you, Liz, and smiles. Ah, and there he is. Very good. All right, Liz, follow me. Let's go see Loverboy and, my accountant. It's all right, they're downstairs. I've got doctors. No need for a hospital.
I feel a kind of wariness. But what can I do at this point? I get up. I start following him.
Pickett leads you down some stairs. Again, you're in the back of the casino. You're familiar with this part of the casino. It's where private dealings occur. You briefly see Christian Starker being dragged into a door somewhere, screaming. He is terrified. It occurs to you that you didn't even mention who you worked for. He just followed you into the car. And then he's gone. Fred, you're downstairs. Lewinsky is looking after you. He's not bad. He's a doctor. He's been sort of checking you over. He says something about broken ribs. Says you'll be fine, but you can't move for now. And you, Georgette, he's looked at you and he's done his best, giving you some badges, but he says, that's a nasty wound you got there, Georgette. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Don't think that hand's going to be moving anytime soon, but don't worry. I got you, we got you. You're safe. Safe in Pickett's little back room with his doctors. What's going through your mind, Fred?
Probably that this doctor really doesn't look good in a nurse's outfit. I'm just staying as still as possible, and the day's events are just going through my mind, and nothing seems like it's real, but somehow I'm here and I'm in pain, so it has to be? I don't understand any of this. I just need a drink, a comfy bed, and to sleep off whatever hell this nightmare is, and hopefully I wake up from it.
Georgette, what about you? Your hand really hurts.
I'm just lying there and gently feeling my hand and thinking that I just have to learn more about this Christian person. I need to know how he has this knowledge, how he can paint things that haven't happened yet.
Eventually, Pickett comes in, with Liz following behind him. He gestures to a chair for you to sit in, Liz. You see Fred, he's there. Lewinsky's near him. It looks like Fred's awake. Georgette as well, although they've got lots of bandages on and look a little worse for wear.
You're alright?
Not even sitting up, I just raise one hand in a real shaky thumbs up and try to give a grin, but it comes out more like a blood-stained grimace.
Yeah. And I feel scared. I mean, I've always been scared of Pickett. There's always been something weird about him, and I kind of understand Christian's reaction, I guess. Well, not as panicked as that. But I just... seeing Georgette, seeing Fred, they're alright. They're being looked after, they're not being killed, we're not being round up again.
No. Mr. Pickett takes out a long cigar and begins smoking. Well, well, well. Well done, you see? All it took was a little incentive, and you three did very good. I've got my guy. That wasn't so hard now, was it?
You say that. Well, what now?
Well, it depends. What exactly happened? Fred, you tell me. What happened down there?
Well, I fought some weird tentacle creature made of soup. There's a weird guy in a hood and a strange mark on his head, and on some weird altar thing, and looked like something was gonna kill Mr. Starker, but...
Oh dear, oh dear. Georgette, I think Fred hit his head real hard. He doesn't really seem to know what's going on. Georgette, you try telling me better. What happened down there? There's a strange edge to his voice.
I'm just gonna kind of look back and forth between Fred and Mr. Pickett, then lock eyes back with Mr. Pickett. Yeah, Fred did take quite the tumble there. I'm not sure what he's talking about. We went down and someone was holding him hostage, but he had a hood on, couldn't really make his face out. Liz shot him a few times.
Shit, Liz, are you telling me that you went into a crazy guy's place and you had to shoot some people and then you found my man and that's the story, yeah?
That's the story, Mr. Pickett.
Oh, it is? Of course it is. Why would it be anything else?
Yeah, I shot some people. And we got him out. And you're happy. And I kind of put my hand to my face over my mouth, and I start crying. Because I kind of still see those eyes and smell that smell. And I still don't know if I'm gonna be free.
Pickett laughs. There you go. You will get it. Don't you worry about the cleanup. I'll handle it. You did a good job. I'm very proud of you all. There's even gotta be a bonus. Guess what? That money you were gonna steal from me, you've now actually earned it. That's right. You've earned your pay.
That makes me nervous. Is this a joke?
Why would it be a joke? I'm fond of you, Free. You see, at the end of the day, you did what I needed you to do. You did it for the reasons you care about things. But it's better than that, because I know you free. Greedy sons of bitches. My favorite sort of people.
And I just dry off my cheeks, and I say, "Thank you, Mr. Pickett. That's very generous."
No, I ain't generous. I'm a greedy bastard too. But greed, it makes the world go round, no? Especially this city. The greed is, the desire for things is... Oh, this place is just beautiful. Sometimes, isn't it? Isn't it? Don't you agree? Come on, you agree, right? Georgette, tell me you agree with me.
Georgette will just weakly nod. You know, I suppose the person that we just bagged for you is quite priceless, huh?
Oh? You bagged me a person? That sounds awfully aggressive. I don't know what you're talking about, he smiles.
Poor wording.
What do you plan to do with him?
I don't plan to do anything with anyone. Maybe someone's gonna have me a little meeting with someone very, very nice, but that ain't for you to know, Liz. I'd stop asking questions.
I just draw a breath and look down into the floor.
Would you all tell me what your stabilities are currently? What are your minuses?
-2 for Georgette.
-1 for Fred.
A 3 for me.
Liz, I'd like you to roll See Through the Illusion. Please roll your soul, as the stress of the evening, the stress of everything you've undergone is just making your mind a little more open than normal.
It's a 14 for Georgette.
A 15 for Liz.
It's a 0 for Fred.
Don't worry so much, Fred and Georgette. Your minds just sort of start shutting down a little, but you, Liz, for a moment, you just see Pickett's tongue extend so long, like some sort of serpent. His body is bulging underneath his smart clothes. Bulging, fat. More than fat, like beyond human dimensions. And it's only for a few seconds, and then it's just him smiling at you.
I just draw a breath, and I've seen things around him before. I've seen his shadow. I am at his mercy. There's nothing I can do. He's giving me money. That's good. That means he's gonna let me live, and Joan's gonna live too. Maybe some other day, if things go well, we'll be able to leave. Maybe. But I'm not gonna ask him anything at this point.
Mr. Pickett smiles. Even his smile, all three of you feel is just too long. You all did good. All is forgiven. Now I'll see you all on the floor tomorrow, yeah? Back at your posts?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Pickett.
Yeah, as long as I don't need to be standing for too long, if I get to sit down, I'll be fine.
Oh, that's what I like about Fred. Always has a line. Good souls. Good little souls. Alright, rest up. I'm in a good mood. And he leaves. And the night comes to an end. Liz. 2 or 3 nights later. What are you doing as you are in your home with your daughter? What are you thinking?
I'm reading a bedtime story for her, but she's already fallen asleep. But I can't stop reading because I can't let my mind wander. There are just too many terrible things that want to break through. But she's there. She's She's warm next to me. I try to focus on that, but I have to keep reading. And maybe that fairy tale, at least for her, it will be real.
It could be worse. You could not have that lovely dress. It's funny. You can't bear to not wear that now. You wear every single evening you can. It makes you feel better, right?
It does. It does. It came from something good. It's like a shell. It's like an armor. I wear it now to protect myself and to keep my smile. That smile. I'm the boss on the floor of the ones that I work with. And at home, I am a beautiful, beautiful woman. Someone for my child to look up to. My child, I have her still.
Fred, it's a few days later. You're on the floor, back in your element, even though it still really hurts. But you think your ribs will be alright. But a lot of things happened that night. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Back on the floor, I've got that charming smile on my face, and I hide any coughs from my broken ribs into the embroidered silk handkerchief I keep in my pocket. But I've got my game on. I'm fixing as many of these poker games as I can. That's my job. Smile, laugh, schmooze, and I'm just staying as close to the light as I can. Anytime I pass the shadows, I just kind of eye them and steer away.
You know there's nothing there. At least you used to know that. But now, you think it's the opposite. You think every single shadow has something there, all the time. How does that make you feel?
Definitely paranoid. Thankfully we live in Las Vegas, and there's lights pretty much everywhere on the strip, so I'm on that as much as possible. I very rarely go out and enjoy the night out as much as I used to. In fact, it probably acts like I'm a little too into my job, since keeping myself busy has always been the greatest defense mechanism I have.
And finally, Georgette. What are you doing in your study with your books and accounting notes a few days later in the night?
I will be just having put my kids to bed, knowing that I should be happy that I'm in the circumstance that I'm in, that I made it out, and I have my family back. But I'm absent. All I can think about is needing to know more about what happened that night, and now confirming to myself that there really is more to Mr. Pickett than he leads on when it comes to the occult.
Yes. After all, you saw things. They were real, weren't they? They had to be. And every night, you see that face. Distant, but at the same time close. It whispers every night. If you want to know more, you nearly need to ask and do a few things. How does that make you feel?
Like there's a very strong possibility for me to become more powerful than what I have been.
The artist, Christian Starker, vanished in the night. Something terrible happened at his art gallery. Awful. All over the papers. Probably, the press say, went crazy and killed all his guests and then did a runner. Absolutely terrible. His artwork is quickly sold off to various collectors. Meanwhile, on the same night, big collector Ryan Howard, big VIP in Las Vegas, terrible, some sort of mob deal went bad or some robbery, no one's quite sure, but something happened at his house. He's missing. But these sort of stories blend to the background. This is the City of Lights, City of Life, City of Greed. As long as people are having a nice time, No one really cares about the dark side of things. It's all just glitz and glamour. Glitz and glamour on the strip. And that is the end of our little gallery of souls.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the adventure Gallery of Souls for KULT Divinity Lost. Gallery of Souls was written by Magnus Sæther for the second edition of KULT, and was just translated by our own Matthias and re-released for KULT Divinity Lost by our friends at Helmgast. Go to kultdivinitylost.com to download your copy. Joining Craig and Hjalmar was Nikita Cake from Devil's Luck Gaming and Jaded Jester from Near Dark Studios. Check them both out if you need more high-quality role-playing in your life. The music was made by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody, dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, David Hagberg, and Camilla for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for KULT Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play KULT with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, death is only the beginning.